And I believe we are live. Bert, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. So I would like to say thank you for joining me. And also, actually, I'm very bad at these openings. I really am. Um, so let me introduce myself first, and then if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, then we'll kind of talk about what we're planning on doing today. Um, and then hopefully we both learn something or at least have some fun. So yes, hi, I'm JJ. I'm a developer advocate for the IBM Cloud, and thank you for joining me, Bert. Bert, do you mind um, introducing yourself and kind of telling me about who you are and what you do?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Bert Van Vreckem. I'm a lecturer in IT at the Ghent University of Applied Sciences. I mainly teach Linux and intro data science. And yeah, well, a few years ago, I wrote Ansible Role to set up Bind as a DNS server, and yeah, that's the reason JJ contacted me.
Yep, that's exactly right. So today, so there's been some conversations around the different circles that DevOps and system administrators are around, and somebody recently mentioned to one of the posts mentioned about this bind playbook that Bert created, and I started doing some really deep research into it and discovered that it truly is like the de facto standard when you're trying to set up DNS and Ansible together. If you don't know, Ansible is a configuration management system, which is from Red Hat that allows for some pretty neat things to happen. And then Bind is the de facto DNS server that we've used since pretty much the beginning of the internet, is pretty safe to say. Yeah, that's about right? Like it's been around for a good 10, 15 years at least. And we're planning on using Ansible today to install it on a VM that I have sitting behind me. And we're going to play with it, kind of just walk through what you would normally do if you decided to be like, I need to control DNS in my local network. So we can kind of see the automation process of using Bert's kind of his playbook here. Is there anything else you'd like to kind of mention before we start?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Perfect. All right, I like it. Straightforward, right? Straightforward. All right, so let me share my screen real quick. So hopefully, give me 2 seconds here. I got to play producer while I'm doing this at the same time, so things always get weird. All right, so that comes over there, and then I will flip this. There we go. So hopefully this will come around how I want it to. Perfect. So Bert, how about you kind of talk to me about what we're looking at right here, right now?
Okay, so the page that you open now is ansible.galaxy.com, which is a repository of Ansible roles. An Ansible role is basically a recipe to set up a certain system, certain application or network service on usually a Linux system. Okay. And it is supposed to be written to be reusable. Good roles can be deployed on several Linux distributions and can be configured as well.
Okay, and then we have your GitHub repo here. Which is the actual code that's there. So if I was coming into this world, Bert, where would you first think I should look at? Should I look through the Galaxy to get this and just like run this command and then walk away? Or should I pull this
down
and start playing with it there?
Normally, the Ansible Galaxy install command should be the default way to go.
Okay.
Because when you do Ansible Galaxy install, you pull down an actual released version. If you clone my repository, that's usually the latest commit is usually a published version, but not always. So you can download an untested or unverified version if you pull down the GitHub repository. Okay. So default way is indeed Ansible Galaxy install.
All right. So just before I do that, just to make sure this is clear to everybody, I have this one machine right here. Oops, PSWX, which this is not a good way of showing it. Just as a simple VM running CentOS 8 on it. Behind us, it has literally nothing on it. I've just named it DNS, as you can see there. I did pull down the playbook, but as you said, we don't need that because we're just going to install it through Galaxy. So that's fine, which is right here. And then this is a playbook that I kind of this is my what's it called? Skeleton playbook. So I have like all the different random setup things we can do inside of it. So let's go ahead and, to your point, copy and then pull this down like so. All right. Perfect. So now that we've pulled this playbook down, what is the first thing we need to do?
The next step is probably to open your playbook and then see if we can apply the role to the system that you're going to set up.
Okay. Oh, do I do it as a tab? Sure.
You should add an entry roles above or below task. Yeah, indeed. And then roles should be a list. Yeah, and we use it. Yeah, and then bertvv.bind.
bertvv.bind. Okay.
All right. So this should apply. If you execute this playbook, it should apply the role to the server that you've set up.
Okay. Let's see.
Now.
Oops. There we go. My mistake.
Now there's a few. So usually, that's a problem that you should be.
Yeah, I thought I had that fixed already. Hang on.
Okay.
I did put the
so usually roles can be configured by setting variables.
Okay.
And some roles can be applied as is without any modification to set up a default implementation. In this case, we need to set some variables before we can make it work. So that the error that you're getting there, item.primaries, is defined. That's asserts item primaries is defined. Well, that assertion fails, so we need to set some variables first before we can get it to work. So how do you do this usually? I usually have a variable file for each host or for a group of hosts.
So what I've done in the past is inside of my playbooks main, as we see here, I usually have a task that doesn't include variables. So could we move this roles down, and then we just have all the variables sitting inside this file? Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if tasks are executed before or after roles.
Oh.
I'm actually not sure if that is the case, and I don't think that the order in this case is relevant.
Okay. That works for me.
There's but you should probably rename tasks to pre_tasks, and that should guarantee that the including the var file, is executed before the role is applied.
Pre underscore like that?
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Then we go into the var's main, and what are some of the variables?
To know which variables we can define and should define, we will have to look at the README. And you can either open the README on galaxy.ansible.com or on the GitHub repository itself. The README of the GitHub repository contains the same information. So the under role variables, that's a reference documentation of all role variables that can be set. Below that table, there's some more structured explanation of what you should or can implement. You see the table at the bottom of the screen. Those are the variables that are mandatory.
Okay.
So for example, bind allow query and bind listen IPv4. When you install bind DNF or yum install bind, when you start up the service, it only listens on the loopback interface, and it will only accept DNS queries from the system itself. If you want to set up a DNS service that is available to clients, you have to allow queries from any system. The variable bind allow query, if you look at the table above, bind allow query should be a list, because in the configuration file of bind, you can add several entries. You can match hosts, several hosts or several networks. You can add ACLs, so it should be a list. Yeah, and usually for a simple DNS service, you can put any there, or yeah.
Would that work?
I guess that should work as well. And then bind listen IPv4 should have the same value.
All right. My Vim is failing me. There you go. Okay.
All right, and then bind zones. Binds zones. That variable sets up the DNS service as a authoritative name server for a domain. You can add several domains. And so bind zones is also a list of dictionaries.
Okay.
And each dictionary defines one domain. And probably the most important, if you look in the table a little bit down, bind zones, that's the top level variable. And then all the keys that you can add to bind zones are below with the dashes in front of them.
Okay, so all of these.
Yeah, all of these with the dashes are sub keys to the bind zones role variable. So the first one probably usually is name, the name of your domain.
All right, so that would be something like, is it single? Would it be like
example.com, acmeinc.com, whatever you want.
Like that?
Yeah, that works. Okay, the lines below name, the dashes should be removed there because we.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The dash before name should stay, but the others should be removed because it's the variable bind zones is a list of dictionaries.
Understood.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, indeed. Okay. Hosts, the variable host will contain the definition of all the hosts in your domain. So that's probably the last one that we'll fill out.
Okay. So this is something we'd want to do as another list, right?
It's also a list of dictionaries, yeah, for each
So
there's an example below. If you scroll in the README, if you scroll down, there's an example.
This one?
Yeah, over there. That's a complete example that should work.
Okay, perfect. So we just want this. So if I go there, oh, come on. Like that, and then bring this down, and then we can do like outside. Sure, why not? And then do 192.168.1.1. Sure. And then is this the upstream name servers?
No, it's all the name servers that are authoritative for the domain asgarlabs.io. So it's a list of host names. Yeah, it's a list of host names of all the DNS servers that are authoritative, and it will probably be if you I
believe that's right.
If you set up this, I would expect that the host name of your DNS server that you're setting up is part of the name servers variable.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. And then networks is a list of all subnets that occur within your domain. In this case, we only have the 192.168.1 network, and you should only specify the network part. Yeah, so just like that. Yeah. Okay. The reason that this is a separate variable is if you have a domain with several subnets, the role will create the reverse lookup zones automatically, and it needs to know which networks are, which subnets are present in the domain.
Okay, nice.
And then the last one, primaries. That's the primary DNS server for your domain, and that's also probably dns.asgarlabs.io.
All right. I need.
Okay, let's try this.
I need quotes around all of these, right? Is that the right thing to do here? These are all strings.
It's probably the right thing to do. The way that you've written it now will probably allow, even without quotes, it will allow Ansible or the templating engine to interpret the values correctly as a string. But for example, if you have a class B network, 172.16, if you forget the quotes, Ansible or the templating engine will think it's a double value, and that will the role executing the role will fail then. So that's interpreter gotcha right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
A good habit to have. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Oh, things are happening.
Ansible is all right. So it's installing bind at the moment, and any dependencies that are necessary to run the Ansible code on that domain. Okay, it's all. That's interesting. An error message. Okay, if you the third to last line, it says dns.asgarlabs.io has no address records. That's probably something if you use the role for the first time, something that can occur, that you can encounter. And the reason is, if you go back to the variables file, the value of name servers. So in bind zone files, fully qualified domain names or fully qualified host names should end with a dot. If not, the value of the domain name will be added in the end. So indeed, where you are now, there should be a dot added
Like that?
Primaries should. Okay, let's try this.
Okay. Excuse me. Nope. Need to put my password in, don't I? Ah, there we go. Oh, no.
Let's see. It still says DNS.aggregator labs has no address records.
If I ping, oh, it's a different IP. Is that a problem?
Probably.
Because is this when it creates the lookup? Is it actually talking to DNS to get that, and it's saying?
No, not yet. This is so the role contains a template file for the zone files, and it fills out placeholders in that file according to the variables that you filled out in the variable file. Let's see. Can you go back to the variable file?
Hang on, how about this?
Okay, I've name servers looks okay. Can you scroll down a bit? So the networks was correct. Huh? What was the IP address of your DNS server?
The machine we're creating is 1.36.
Yeah. Maybe we should add a host definition for your DNS server as well.
Okay. Oh, okay.
In the variable file.
So we just do that to DNS, that to 36.
36. And can you show me the value of primaries again? Okay, that should be the IP address of your primary DNS server.
Think so?
Yeah, all right, let's try again.
I see you've DevOps before. Let's try again. Let's try again. Nope, I think it worked.
Yep. It seems okay. No fails, so that means that that the DNS service should be available.
Outside that Ansible.
I'm not sure that is going to work because dns.asgarlabs.io will probably not resolve. Maybe you should put the IP address.
Oops, it's 36.
36. Yeah. So are you on the DNS server itself right now?
No,
I'm on firewall.
Oh, good question. X script or sudo system CTL status firewall B. Yes, I do. So,
all right.
So here's a good question for you, Bert. Do I add to that playbook that we've created with the variables inside of it? Do I add the firewall manipulation there, or should I just turn this firewall off? Like, what would you do if you were setting this machine up?
management of the firewall is not a concern of the bind role, so there's no features implemented to install the firewall, because you can also run it on FreeBSD or which doesn't have firewall D, so I'm not doing that inside the role. There's two things you can do. You can either add a task that calls the firewall D module in Ansible and set up the DNS service, or you can use another role that can set up your firewall rules. The simplest thing is probably add a task to your playbook.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just turned off the firewall, right? Because to your point, we're focusing on just your playbook, and it was a very good explanation that you had, is that your playbook doesn't control firewall D because it runs on so many other systems. Having it as something separate is a very, like, it's modularization, creating a bunch of modules to be able to add up, which I appreciate greatly. I turned off the firewall, and I'm still not getting there. ESWX.
And if you log in on the DNS service, if you
what's the client service called?
Name d.service. NAMED.service, I think. You forgot the V. You forgot the. Okay, that, yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Between
you.
the R and the I.
Yep, my mistake.
No worries. Yeah.
So it's up and running.
What also is revealing is sometimes is SS-TLNP or TULNP.
SS
space and then dash TLN UTLNP. N of number, not the M.
And okay.
Yeah.
That looks right. Oh no, that's IPv6. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But apparently, it still only listens on the loopback interface. I don't know if you noticed. So you see ::1.53, and there's also somewhere. I don't see it on the IPv4 actually.
Yeah, me neither. So if we look at this one, just the file real quick, it does say.
I usually listen on port 53. What I usually put there is any instead of the 0.0.0.0. The same goes for bind allow query. I also put any there.
All right, so, oops, any, like so, any, like so.
Okay, let's
try it again.
Let's try again. Okay, change something to the main config file. So that's a good sign.
If we come back over here, yep, there it is. Oh, that's not really great highlighting. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So if I come back over here now,
again with show sockets, SS.
Hey!
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So just to make sure that this is clear, if you didn't know, if you type assuming you have dig installed, dig isn't always installed nowadays. You type dig and then the @ sign to the DNS server you want to talk to. So we could easily do like 8.8.8.8, which this is, you can see, this actually doesn't exist. That's why I chose the word outside, because I knew I didn't actually use it. And I just pointed it to my router, where, as you can see here, by saying that to the DNS we're looking up, it comes back with the number that we added, which was 192.168.1.1. That's pretty cool, man. I like it. I like it.
All right.
So
what's next?
Yeah, exactly. What is next? We've already added a host. So actually, if we did this, actually we didn't actually do that. Let's try this just to verify. DNS, and it comes back with the IP that we gave it also. Perfect. So if I ever wanted to just add another machine, I just take this same 2 lines and I just add it to this var line. Now,
indeed.
As this is obviously, if I was doing this at a corporation, like if I wasn't just doing this at home and I had hundreds and hundreds of machines to add, what would be a good way for me to manage that?
In what format do you have the list of?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Like, how would you extend it?
I would probably write a bash script that converts, if it's a CSV file or whatever, into YAML and copy paste that into the variable file.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's that works. It's a good answer. That's a good answer. I like it. Okay. So the last thing I was hoping to get, which is perfect because we're right on time what I was hoping for, is that one of the better practices to do this is to have it attached to a Git repo, right? Where you have all your stuff inside of Git, so you can always make sure everything works together. And what I've done, and I've already pre-baked this, where I have a little drone instance that I was going to attach to this playbook, and then every time I make a change, my goal is to be able to add a new machine to this, have drone kick off to make sure it's all linted properly, and then we can just run the playbook again to verify that it's there. And with that, then we have a full pipeline where we can be like, Bert can give me and say, hey, JJ, I want to add Bert is awesome.asgardlabs.io. I can just add it through the normal PR system, see that it works, make sure it's all done, and then kick off the playbook and it works. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then hopefully if someone's watching this in the future, they can see that even just running this and having the code in this repo, if you have the CI and CD pipeline around it too, it forces good practices. It forces a level of comfort with it so you don't break something. Okay.
I agree. This is also the way that the role is tested. So the role has its own GitHub repository, and if you don't mind going to the webpage with the GitHub repository for a minute. The molecule directory contains the test codes, and anytime that someone pushes a commit or pushes a pull request, the GitHub actions will spin up a couple of Docker images.
Really?
And apply the playbook, apply an actual playbook with that is a showcase of all the features that are implemented in the role. It will repeat this for all the platforms that that are supported by the role. So
Let's see. Hang on.
We use
Hang
this
on.
way as well to make sure that if we release a new version, that it still works. I've been bitten by. Can you please merge this pull request? The code is fine, and then you do that, and then nothing works anymore.
Hey.
So the testing framework ensures that the code still works after merging a pull request, which is the main goal of this.
Now, you made a statement earlier about FreeBSD. I don't see any FreeBSD here.
Well, the reason is the FreeBSD support it's someone wrote a code. I don't exactly know who and tested it, but the Docker images that we use are written by Jeff Geerling guy on GitHub, and he doesn't have a Docker image for FreeBSD, and I don't know enough about FreeBSD to make one myself, so we couldn't include FreeBSD in the testing harness. But someone tested it, and yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so let's just wrap this up real quick by just adding this to the pipeline, which is, again, I'm only doing this internally. Like, you could do this on GitHub or whatever. It's just the way I chose to do it. And then from there, I guess we'll be done. So let me go ahead and git push. So then we come over here, and then if you didn't know, I have these very simple checks here where it goes through and does the Ansible syntax check and task lists, and then runs Ansible lint. It's not too crazy, but again, if you already have it there, now I don't have to think about it, and things are great. So
yeah, I recognize I recognize Jeff's Docker images.
So git checkout -b JJ new entry.
Shout out to Jeff Geerling. Well, thanks for writing these, for maintaining these images, because I used to do this myself, and that was messy.
Did you know he just had a kid?
Oh, that's great news. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and call that Bert, and we'll give you IP 99. How about that? All right. So then git add period, git commit -b new server, git push origin, JJ Asgard. What? There we go. So that should give me over here a new branch. And we've already broken something. So we haven't run any of the CI against it, and already we've said that the syntax for this
bertv.bind was not found, so the role was not installed on your CI system.
Okay. Well, maybe we can just skip past that one. Here we go. Even better. Trailing white space. So I can come back over here to vars. Oops. Vim main set list. And then number 8. There we go. Git add, git commit. Removed extra space. Git push. All right. So we should see again. Here we go. Oh, another one. I'm surprised you didn't catch it the first time.
Line 2.
Just double check the set list. Okay, cool. Okay. Commit. Move extra space. Push. Ah, come on. There we go. I realize I'm going through this pretty quickly for our viewers at home, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, this is just the typical process that you go through, right? And as you can see here, we got a green checkbox. I actually skipped this one because of syntax problems or whatever, but this passed how we wanted it to, so we can come back over here and see that we got our nice little checkbox, which is good. Where's my, didn't I create a pull request? Did I do that? Oh, here we go. So we've removed the spaces and we added our new machine. So I'll go ahead and create a new pull request, create the pull request, and it kicks it off again, which is nice, just to verify one more time. And then where are we? Where'd it go? Did I really screw that up that badly? Hang on. Here we go. So now I can go ahead and merge this, or it's done, right? Yeah, okay. I can go ahead and merge this. As you can see, this is Gitia. It's not actually GitHub, but it has the same kind of workflow. We've merged it. So now I can come back over here now, git checkout master. And if I was trying to push out a new machine or whatever, this is exactly how I want to do it because I wanted to make sure that it was in the history. Now I pulled that down. I go ahead and come here, and then I can do playbook, push it out to our DNS server. Now that we know our playbook is working how we expect it to with the new changes, it goes and runs the actual playbook as we expect it. Now, we could put this also in automatic form where we'd even have a job on when master gets merged with drone or Jenkins or GitHub Actions. Me personally, I like the idea of actually running the playbook myself just to know that that's when it's released. So then we can go to dig, and then we can go to Bert. And there we go. We got IP99. Perfect. Perfect. Well, I think we can wrap that up there now. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and then click it over to us again talking. So Bert, what else would you like to say to our audience about your playbook or anything else? Or we've had a pretty good run of everything going through.
Yeah, well, primary goal of the playbook is to set up bind as a authoritative only DNS server, so it's not in not primary as a caching DNS service. Mm-hmm. So it can be forwarding can be turned on, but yeah, there's not many. It's not the primary goal of the role. And then yeah, you can add IPv6 entries. You can add CNAMEs. Basically, any type of resource record that is supported by DNS can be is supported in the role as well. You can quite easily add a secondary name server that gets its zone file from the primary server. And well, I think this is the first role for bind that didn't require you to write the zone files yourself. Mm-hmm. So what I think that this role adds to added to the or contributed to the community is the fact that you don't have to write the zone files yourself, which can be a bit cumbersome. It has a weird syntax. Mm-hmm. You don't have to maintain the reverse zones as well. It's all generated automatically from the YAML.
Mm-hmm.
You can, there's some people that don't like the YAML syntax, but I think, well, if you use it correctly, this is a description of the desired states of the machine. It's not code, so it's a description of the records that you wanted. And I think YAML is fine as a as a system of describing how you want the DNS server to behave.
Perfect. So we learned how to do that in my local network, and now I could convert my DNS over to it. If I wanted to put this out on the internet and use this as a DNS for my company, is there a path to that success there with using this, or do you think, like, could you see you using this to do IBM.com or whatever? Is there an opportunity there with it being a primary, or?
Well, frankly, I'm not I've never worked professionally as a system administrator, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But people apparently are using this role in production. I think we have good QA because we test. We actually a lot of playbooks on Ansible Galaxy. They do the syntax check and a kind of smoke test, install the role and see if it doesn't crash. But testing the behavior of the resulting DNS server, the resulting service, is something that is not always done with published roles on Ansible Galaxy. We actually do this. We test if the DNS server that you set up actually is reachable over the internet and replies to the queries that you've put in there. The records that you put in there.
Perfect.
So I think it's usable as in a production environment.
Okay.
And apparently people are using it. So that's yeah. By now, there's been contributions from about 30 people. There's two people that were kind enough to help me maintain the role, Gregory Shuloff and Stuart Knight. They're, if you look at the README on the bottom of the list of contributors. So there's a small community around the world that has implemented quite a few nice features.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, no joke. I learned a ton today. I want to say thank you for your time and being able to do this. If you just joined the stream or wondering what we're talking about, I'll have the rest of the stream published to YouTube here in a little while, so you can watch it. But Bert, I can't say thank you enough for giving me the time and walking me through this. I truly did learn a lot, and now I feel so much more confident with your playbook here. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you. I had a blast. It was great having this conversation.
And I do want to say
it's useful to your viewers as well.
Absolutely. I wanted to say we did. Bert and I did actually schedule this to be significantly longer, but we got everything done so quickly because it actually works, right? So if that's not a testament to great software that works faster than you're expecting it to, I don't know what is, right?
All right, thank you. That's very kind of you to say.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye, and I'm going to stop the stream. And then thank you. I'll be back next week, like I always am on Fridays. Hopefully with something else to see. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, JJ. Bye-bye.